and good afternoon. We are so excited that you are with us today. And of course, I'm reminded of this. This is my standard. Education is a key to being and staying free. And no one can take what you have between your ears. That the phrase from my dad growing up. In other words, education is important. Two very sage pieces of advice that will keep you moving forward. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Judge Speaks. This is Hubert Grimes, retired circuit judge from the great Seventh Circuit Court, based in the population center of Daytona Beach, aka the world's most famous beach. So glad to have another day on the planet and to spend some time with you today. And of course, we are ever changing and trying to get better here at Joy 106.3. Shout out to the general manager, Ms. Pat Cadet, who is an entrepreneur extraordinaire, not only managing the radio station, including working the boards as today when needed, but facilitating a beauty salon next door amongst her many other ventures. So a big thank you to her for recruiting me and making this show, among others, very possible. So, my friends, here we are in the month of August. And guess what? School is back in session here in Volusia County. The young people went back to school on Monday. And so, for those driving in school zones, be mindful, slow down, and watch out for the little ones. They may not be watching as much as they should, but let's make sure that we watch and that we slow down and we take good care of them. And of course, speaking of school time, our guest for today has a deep connection to a very special school, or should I say, college and university, and we will be bringing him on in just a few minutes. But before we get to that, I want to welcome back all our college students as well. Over the weekend, Bethune-Cookman began welcoming in a new freshman class, and they are going through orientation this week. In fact, on my way here to the radio station today, I saw a large group of them crossing the street, and of course, I think they were going to try to make sure they got some BCU paraphernalia. And of course, I'm repping Bethune-Cookman today. I've got on my gold shirt with a little bit of Bethune-Cookman up at the top. So I want to just say welcome to the freshman class of Bethune-Cookman. And of course, remember the motto, enter to learn, depart to serve. And I addition to that, and return to invest. And as they continue to go through orientation, and as we continue to welcome each and every one of them to this to the city of Daytona Beach, our city manager, Derek Fiacher, shout out to the manager and my homeboy, reminds us that there are 6 institutions of higher learning in our city. So we want to also not only welcome our students back to Bethune-Cookman, but we want to also welcome students at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, Daytona State College, UCF Daytona, FSU Medical, Daytona, Kaiser University, and to all of their family and friends. And not only that, but we'll also do a special shout out to our cross county friends, none other than Stetson University. So we want you all to come because you make a positive and amazing contribution to this community, not only in the economic impact, but also in your personal presence. And so you are the ambassadors that will leave this community and take the message to others and let them know how much not only that we care about you, but that we are glad that you are a part of our community. Excuse me. So now that the welcomes are done, once again, we're excited to be with you. Always a lot going on in our world, from the spaceships going up on the Space Coast, and some have been hindered by the weather, but nevertheless, they are. This is Florida, and this is what we deal with. Also, we know that some of the news stories out circulating that some of the scientists are using the Hubble telescope to track a massive, what appears to be a massive alien spaceship or some type of object that scientists are tracking. They say it's traveling at about 135,000 miles an hour, entering our solar system. And on that trajectory, we'll do a pass by of planet Earth sometime in late October, early November. Now, we don't know what's contained on the inside of that ship, if anything, but we do know that that's what they're telling us. So don't be alarmed. If the folks, maybe they're going to come and straighten out some of the mess that we got ourselves into. Uh, there are also folks as part of our information because, Ms. Cadet has pushed the idea that Joy 106.3 is not only for inspiration, but also for information. And so we've got storms out on the horizon coming off the coast from our motherland. So keep an eye out. Weather forecasters are expecting more information over the next week as the projected trajectory will become a little more crystal clear. So make sure you keep an eye out on what's going on the weather scene. And all of this while the man in the White House is federalizing law enforcement in the city of D.C., bringing in National Guards, and even talking about um, rounding up the homeless people and removing them from the city. Now that's a kind of an amazing thing. But where does he plan on putting them since he's going to round them up? That remains a question. But don't be surprised if he doesn't put the homeless in some type of encampment like the alligator Alcatraz down south in the Everglades, or worse yet, deport them to another country only because they're on hard times and are homeless. So we got to just be aware of that and just be conscious of what's going on in literally in our nation's capital. Locally, I'll say thank you, Mayor Derrick Henry, for providing a shelter. But for the grace of God, at any of us, and whether it be us or be our family, could fall on hard times. So let's pray that God will open the heart of the man called Trump to develop a care for the least, the last, and the lost. Now, I also understand that he's supposed to be going over to Alaska later on this week to meet with President Putin and supposedly to open up discussions on ending the war in Ukraine. And so let's pray something positive comes out of that meeting. Well, I've talked a lot about different things as I try to make sure that I follow you always hear me say, folks, the words of Dr. Matt King Carter: never go to bed as ignorant as you were when you got up this morning. Every day, you ought to learn something new. And I'm sure our coach, who's going to be our special guest today, is teaching new stuff to his team each and every day. And so let's bring our special guest on. He has the heart of the Wildcat. He not only played his college football at Bethune, but he graduated and went on to further greatness. So let me welcome the head coach of the BCU football team and the #1 Wildcat, Coach Raymond Woody. My friend, welcome.
Thanks, Judge, for having me on your show.
Glad that you're with us today. It's exciting time. I mean, you guys have endured, and if you can come over just a little bit more this way, all right, and we'll make sure we get you in there. If you right, so you guys have endured the heat of summer.
Yeah.
You've had your guys working out, some of them individually on their own. We're not going to fall out of compliance with NCAA, but we know summertime is a time that preps everybody for the fall. And so these guys have been preparing. But, Coach, before we dive into what you're doing now, let's go back. Let's talk about you for a minute. Let's go back and talk about your upbringing and how you got to be a coach, man. I mean, what is that? I mean, some people want to become players, but you did a thing and use your playing ability to end up becoming a coach. Talk about your journey, how you got here. Where you from originally? Tell our listeners.
Well, I'm from Palmetto, Florida. That's south of Tampa, Manatee County.
We used to play y'all way back when.
Way back when.
Way back when.
Yeah, I come from a tradition-rich, football area. Obviously, coming up as a youngster, my dad was a coach, and he coached me, in Little League, and also my uncle. And I've always said, if I had opportunity to play the game, once I finished playing the game, I wanted to coach the game.
Okay. Well, you've done a good job of that. And on your journey now, so you graduated Bethune. I remember, of course, back in the I want to say the late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah, I graduated in 1996.
Okay, so you would have been here at the same time as my nephew. You probably don't even remember, but Robert Grimes, Devon Grimes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right,
Family.
yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, and then of course you left Bethune, and what was your path after that?
Well, I got drafted over in the second round, British Columbia, BC Lions, and then from there, I was there a year. I got an ankle injury hampered by that. Came back in the States. I signed a 1-year option out there. Came back in the States, did some rehab. Had an opportunity. I got a call from Tony Dungy. I was there for a short while in training camp, and my ankle didn't hold up, and that's why I always tell these guys NFL stands for not for long. So
Mm.
once finished that, I volunteered, in 1996 at my alma mater, which was Palmetto High School,
Okay.
and I was 23 at the time. So a job came available at Bayshore High School, and a head job, and I'm
Okay.
like, man, I'm fresh out of playing. What do I know about, running a organization? So I
Okay.
put in out of 28 applicants, and I came down to the final 2 weeks later, and I said, oh, I got a shot.
You got a shot.
So they gave me an opportunity in 1997, being the youngest coach in the state of Florida at 23.
Okay.
Did that, from 1997, to 2009, and had an opportunity to 2 months ago got inducted in the Bayshore Hall of Fame for the most wins.
Okay.
And then from there, I went to my alma mater, 3 years, from 2009 to 2011, and had an opportunity to be the athletic director and the head football coach, first minority in Manatee County to ever, do that. And then
Okay.
Coach Willie Tiger came and
Mm.
offered me a job at Western Kentucky, did years over there.
Bowling
Then,
Green.
yes, Bowling Green,
All
Kentucky.
right.
Still
All right.
have that, my cell phone number, 270. Never forget where you come from.
Yeah.
Built that program, inherited that. They was 0-22. Went to University of South Florida, was there. We built that program back up. 2016, I was the
Okay.
defensive coordinator. We went 11-2. We beat University of South Carolina in a Birmingham Bowl, and we still got a single season record there. And
Okay.
then from there, went to Oregon, had an opportunity to go there, 1 year.
Well, that's a rainy place, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. Oh yeah. It was great, to have a chance to go there, Eugene, to help build that program. Then from there, went to Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
Then from Florida State, we had a short stay there. Went to FAU, and then from FAU went to Temple. So I was associate head coach, linebacker coach up under Stan Drayton. And 2 weeks later, after he gave me the job, here comes my alma mater calling, and I could not pass up that opportunity. Really grateful for the administration, to give me my first head coaching job, and
Okay.
present, I'm here.
All right. All right. And certainly you came in through some difficult times right on the tail end of the whole pandemic and having to sort of rebuild a program that had been decimated by pandemic, had been decimated by, layoffs, by a whole bunch of other stuff going on. And, but you've been ever present. You continue to work, work, work. And I could see anybody that's a Wildcat supporter can see the progress that's being made. So talk about that part of your journey. How difficult it is because we got some people that might be listening in, and it may not be in terms of football, but it's in life itself that if at first you don't succeed, you got to keep trying till you do.
Yes, sir.
And you are the fitting example of that, my friend.
Well, thanks, Judge. I mean, the standard is a standard. It wasn't about me. It's about we. I had to come in with a plan. Grades. Guys, 20 guys that I inherited. They was academically ineligible on probation. Our GPA was a 2.4. I mean, we had some issues, with APR. And 2 years later, just pressing those guys, letting them know that, hey, just simple things. On time mean late.
Mm-hmm.
To class, to
Mm-hmm.
meetings, to practice.
Mm-hmm.
That turned around to our whole team. Has a 3.25
All
GPA,
right. All
19
right.
guys on the presidential list, 20
Okay.
guys on honor roll. So you have to build it from ground up.
Fans often don't know about that part. They don't know about what you just said as far as the academic side of the equation and the successes there. And so you just heard him say it. How many people that are now not only doing the standard, but are exceeding the standard.
Oh, yeah.
And because again, we know that ultimately your brain is a thing that's going to take you through life
That's right.
and give you all of what you need in order to succeed. So again, I just want to congratulations that you guys have met the APR standard
Yeah,
of the
thank you.
NCAA.
Yes, sir.
You're going strong, and so talk about the growth of how your team is coming together. I mean, I found out that that some of your guys were working out at the same place where I work out at. Now, of course, they're a lot better than me, but
Kickboxing.
but we're trying to get there. We're trying to get there. But talk about some of what you're doing and how, like you just mentioned, how did you get them? And particularly, this is for the young people that might be listening. How did you get them disciplined in the context of the academic side, and how that relates to playing on the field?
Well, I tell you what, I have to, give all honor to God. I mean, He's given myself and the coaches the strength to press these guys, not just us, but OSAS, our academics, our administration. The standard is a standard, so we all work together. And like we were talking about this several years ago, hey guys, if we don't have enough to have guys or support staff to go and check classes, our coaches was checking classes. I mean,
Okay.
they know the golf cart scene. I mean, and it was a great thing because now those players, they understand that, hey, these coaches really care about, our academics. So I would have to say that the coaches are all bought into the student athlete part. And it's
Okay.
all about consistency.
Yes, sir.
And that was the key.
And now you find yourself uh, at a point where you're getting ready to start this new season.
Yes.
I know you got great expectations. Talk a little bit about what you've done in preparation for the season ahead, and what are some of your greatest? What do you see as some of the challenges going forward?
Well, we've all looked at film obviously over and over again of last year, and it all comes down to the technique and the fundamentals. Attention to detail equals the coordination of the play.
Okay.
So every day that's what we're stressing. It's not about the schemes; it's about you doing your 111.
Okay. Okay. And for those who might not know what a 111 is, tell our listeners out there.
Well, it's everyone doing their job.
Okay.
Everyone. So we use the term love equals time. If you love someone, you spend time with them. So now with these teammates and the coaching staff, everyone has a job. So if I let you down, that means that you don't love me. So we talk about it all the time. You got to have a fear of not letting your teammate down, and that's by doing your job.
All right, all right. Well, let's see. Now they'll start going back into classes here in another week or so, and then of course we got what's the first game of the season and when and where?
17 days, FIU in
Ooh,
Miami.
17 days from
Yeah.
now.
Yes.
And for those of you that remember, we have in the past have previously played FIU. And then we've actually, for the two times that I recall that we played FIU, even though they're a much bigger school than we are, we beat them. They were surprised but we beat them. And there were some people that said, "Oh, they ain't gonna never play us again." But coach, you got it so that we are playing them again, and we're playing them down south on their home turf, opening game. So tell us about what are your expectations from us, and as well as what do you expect from the other side.
Well, I tell you what, we want to go out there and execute in all cylinders. Obviously, Willie Simmons and I, we're good friends,
Oh yeah.
and he's at the helm. Really good coach. Obviously he's shown that, and like I was telling him, we were talking. It was like, we all want to win, but hopefully we come out of this healthy. Because we got a long season.
Well, Willie Simmons, for those of you that may not be aware, was previously coach at FAMU and left FAMU, went to Duke for a
Yes,
bit,
sir.
and now he's come back as a head coach at FIU. And of course, so that Wildcat Rattler rivalry continues, and
Right.
it's going to be going on. You're going to see it on display. So that's what August 29th.
Yes, the 29th.
Okay. All right.
Friday
Down
night.
in South Florida. So for those of you that don't yet have your plans made, I think that's Labor Day weekend, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. If you haven't got your plans prepared, then you need to go ahead and get your tickets. Come on down to the FIU game, and let's support the Wildcats. One of the things that we know is that these young men are going to give their all, and it's the first game of the season. It's in South Florida, so we know it's going to be hot, just like it. But is it any different than what it is here? It's hot here in Daytona.
Yes, sir.
But we just got to go out and support the Wildcats. I'm Coach. You got. I know we're in the SWAC now, and What do you think your expectations are for the upcoming season as to when we start getting into conference play? Because prior to conference play, you've got a couple other, in addition to FIU, you've got any other big games, out of conference games coming up?
Miami.
Who? Who is
And
that?
next week.
Who is
Who is
that?
that? September 6th.
The U, eh?
Yes.
The U. So we're looking at that and continue to represent, continue to do well, and we know that you will.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so those two games are back to back. Is that correct?
Yes, and then South Carolina State.
Then
And
we
then you
then we
get
get
into
into okay, our arch rival for decades has been South Carolina State.
right.
They're of course they're in the MEAC, we're in the SWAC now, but we're still arch rivals,
Yes.
and will always be arch rivals.
Yes.
I've been to some of those games in Orangeburg where Bethune and South Carolina played each other. But let's just say that we're looking forward to going ahead and giving them a good whooping. A lot of my homeboys went to South Carolina State
Oh, okay.
from undergrad days, and so that was always that rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
I was at Kentucky State at the time; they were at South Carolina State, so there was also that built-in rivalry from days gone by. So, what are some of your highlights that you expect as the season unfold? Any particular ones that our fans out there, and let me throw it out there, folks. If you haven't gotten your season tickets, it's time to do so.
Oh, yeah.
We've got ours. We keep our seats every year, and we've already purchased our season tickets. And even if I'm not sitting in them, because I might be out and about, moving around, maybe traveling, but we're going to support the Wildcats. And in fact, Coach, we got to at the end of the show and in the next day or so, I'm going to connect with you because we're going to make another contribution to the football team. It's not a big one.
No.
But they tell me every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps. But I look forward to the day when it will be a big one, by the grace of God. So I want to encourage those of you that are out there to do the same thing. Help our team become stronger. They're not just, they don't get there just by all be doing the stuff on the field. There are a lot of supportive kinds of things that come about because of financial resources. So I'm pitching to those of you that are out there in the audience. Join me in helping to give a donation to the team. There's no donation too small. There's certainly no donation that's too large. I know that they're in the final phases of the athletic complex.
Yes, sir.
We know how beautiful the field is out there,
Right.
and but they're working that up. So I want to just do a shout out to you. You might have got busy, you might have forgot, and truth be told, summer has come and gone. It's been a short summer, and but now here we are back in football season. So I want us to help the Wildcats get ready for the season. TD Jakes always say, "Get ready, get ready, get ready." Okay, get ready, set, go. And so come on out, and Coach Woody will be glad if you've got I'm getting ready to put him to work. If you got an organization and you want to do something, you want to invite him over to speak, I'm sure he'll be glad to come and do that. He or any of his other coaches. But we looking, and he didn't know I was going to say this when I invited him on. But I'm asking you all to come out of your pockets. Go ahead, write a check, do something that's going to help this football team to get the kind of support things that they need to make them just that much stronger, just that much more capable for them to be successful here on the gridiron. Coach, what would you say to that anybody out there in the listening audience that needs to hear about the Wildcats?
Well, I tell you what, it's not I appreciate you, Judge, basically saying that as far as, what we need, but we want to know how we can help. It's not about taking, it's about giving. Our guys have been around the community, picking up trash, also talking with the young kids, reading to them, so it's just all about, giving and some of the things that we're doing now is just inviting all of the alumni, the Wildcat Nation. It doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. You can come and just give your time and talk to these young men because they need to know that you can be highly successful, coming to Bethune-Cookman University, and even some of the student athletes that played that can share that, hey, you know what, we did a lot with a little. And we all know NIL, name, image, and light, that's a big factor. But we tell the guys all the time, those who want to be here will be here. But it's still out there. there. It's not about developing. It's about renting players now.
How about that?
And we're not renting players. We want to develop them. But if you don't have anything that's set up, the average person going to go out and grab what they can get. So all we ask for is you all to come out and help instill that pride that I once had, that some of the other guys on the staff that was alumni had. And I think that will be a very big help.
That's great. That's great. Now, in fact, building on that, last year, my wife and some of the other folks, Betty Goodman, Daisy Grimes, they worked together to create this program with you called
Yes.
Adopt a Wildcat.
Oh yes.
And we had families out in the community that came together, and they had a Wildcat that was assigned to them, and or vice versa. And I know that some of them took them out to eat. They called and checked on them. They gave them a family away from home.
Right.
And so again, we got that program being relaunched again. I got calls from Miss Goodman. She's going to be the leader, I guess, on the side of family, helping to identify families in the community and people that would be willing to adopt a Wildcat. We have, and of course, we've been adopting Wildcats for a long time.
Yeah.
So, uh, no, but we're looking forward to that again. In fact, my one of my clients and his wife, they've already called and asked me to connect them with the program because they're excited about adopting a Wildcat. And so I just wanted to say a brief shout out to my good friend Dave Schultz, who's already volunteered. He and Karen have already volunteered. They say, "Hey, Judge, let us know. Let us know when we want to do that." And I know there are others out there, but if you've not heard of the program, you can reach out, of course, to Coach Woody at the Bethune-Cookman. We're going to give you his contact information here before the program is over so that you can be able to get involved with the program and be able to be a resource here in the community. A lot of these kids are from, I mean, your players come from not just here in Florida, not just here in the Volusia County area, although you do have a significant number.
Yes.
But what are some of the other cities or states where your players are coming from?
Well, I tell you that Georgia, California, New York. I mean, they're all around the country, and I just really want to acknowledge, Miss Daisy Grimes, Mama Grimes. I know her.
Yeah.
Obviously, she told me when I got hired several years ago that she was going to start this, and she did it. Along with the help of Betty Goodman. And
Mhm.
these guys, they just need someone to talk to other than the coaches that see them every day. And it's been really great because some of these players of the adopted Wildcats, some of the adopted Wildcats are retired, some are working, but they've been helping them with internships, and it's just
Mhm.
a good
Family.
thing. Yeah.
It's family. It is allows us to be able to connect them to the community and for the community to be connected with the university. And of course, many of you that shop in and around the entire city, you run into Bethune-Cookman students working in retail outlets and establishments. And many of them, I mean, they're very key on helping to finance themselves through
Yes.
college. And so, and many times what these young men could certainly use is just a family.
Yes.
They can use a family away from family. And so I want to just ask you all that are out there. I didn't write down Miss Goodman's number here, but I'll try to reach back in and get it at a later date and provide that for you. We'll make it available through our contacts here on Facebook and through the others. But if you adopt a Wildcat program, now will be in its, is it second year or third year? I want to say it started last year, didn't it?
Yes.
Last year, so
Yes.
second year.
Yes, sir.
What time is rolling along,
Oh
man?
yeah.
Jeez, but it's it's a great program that was one of the things started to try to help strengthen and help uh, build on the community and help those who are indeed Wildcat supporters. Now, you mentioned about a little bit about the NIL. You mentioned transfer portal. How has that impacted what you do as head coach, the transfer portal? Let's talk about that for a moment before we talk about NIL. Are you all bringing in a number of young people who are transferring from other schools?
What we try to do is, just based on experiences that not just myself, but the other coaches, we rely on friendship. We rely on the people that we know that could let us know, hey, this individual is not going to be a locker room lawyer. So it's very, you got to be strategic, when you go out
Mm-hmm.
and get guys from the transfer portal, because some of these guys can tear up your locker room. And then
Mm.
the standard is the standard. So you want to get character guys in here.
Okay.
So we're getting, but we're being very selective. And then obviously we tell them straight up. I mean, if you come in here thinking that you're going to get money, this is not the right place to come.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Mm-hmm.
money is going to be working like 15 other guys this summer at shopping centers. That's
Mm-hmm.
your NIL.
Right. Right. And then there's a passion that comes with the Wildcat tradition. I was seeing, I think on Facebook just a few days ago, where one of the young men whose father played previously played for Bethune, went to the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
and now his son is now following dad's footsteps, playing for you. I think he's a new kid. I don't want to call his name out wrong, but just thinking about that, that's based on a tradition. That's
Right.
based upon family. That's based on the fact that we have uh, we have an established, I would say, family here at Bethune, and I'm so happy to see even that is being strengthened all the more. I know that there are uh, many of you that are out there that are listening in or watching us here on Facebook, that you know the tradition
Right.
of Dr. Bethune and how over the years it has developed. And Bethune is more than just a quote unquote college where you just come and get a piece of paper, say you went there, you graduated. There are relationships that get established, lifelong relationships.
Right.
There's a love for the school. There are those we look back and see those professors who were sometimes the hardest professors, but they were hard just like a coach would be because they wanted to pull the best out of you.
Right.
And so that's
Right.
what I love about this university, that it's more than just, you know, you go there and get your piece of paper, graduate, you go on down the road. No, you changing lives, and
Right.
you're doing that with the guys on that are under your control and
Right. Thank you.
influence. So, talk about any new things happening, any new coaches you brought on, any new activities, ideas, anything you got that's going to be different this year.
Well, I, Coach Pat Brown, obviously, he was the head coach at Seabreeze. Before that,
Yeah.
he played from Cookman as well, and then
Mm-hmm.
he went on to Valdosta State, Abilene Christian. He and Coach Keith Tolbridge, who was a quality control guy at Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are cold special teams coordinators. They're young, energetic. They can go out these days and times. They don't want a drill sergeant. They want guys who can demonstrate what they're
Gotcha.
talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to bring a lot of energy, to what we're doing on the special team unit. And you
Okay.
have to be able to change the game by the hidden yardage. And those guys are doing an outstanding job. And then Coach Pimpleton, who was with me at several stops, from West Kentucky to South Florida to Oregon, he's going to be the play caller.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Yes.
Very good. What type of are we going to expect a run-oriented offense? Are we going to expect a pass-oriented offense, or do you not want to give away those secrets
Well,
just yet?
we have to run the ball. We have to run the ball, and that was the number one goal in the spring. We got to run the ball, whether it's from the spread formation, whether it's from 12 personnel, 22, 23 personnel. We have to
Mm.
be to run the ball. We want to make the clock and play some really good defense.
Okay. All right. Are there any rule changes coming up this season that will affect us in the overall scheme of playing the game?
Well, one big one is after the ref spot the ball. You know how some people say fake the injury? You have to do that to slow us down. Say if we were to spread offense and we went tempo,
Mm-hmm.
if some of the opponents wanted to pull up and say, hey, I'm gonna fall on the ground to stop the pace, they have to do that before the spot of the ball.
Mm.
So if
Okay.
they do it after the spot, it's gonna be a penalty.
Okay.
Delay a
Is
game.
that going to be okay? So it'll be a 5 yarder.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that may take a few of those little fakers out.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So you plan to have an up tempo game plan. I heard you say you're gonna run it, but like you say, you're gonna put speed behind it as far as the tempo of the game is
And we can
concerned.
go fast, Judge. We can go fast and slow.
There you go. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's what I like to hear.
Yes.
He and I were talking just before we got on about a book that I have read. Oh my God, I've read it at least 2 or 3 times, but it is a book that actually talks about football. And shout out to Larry Wesley, my dear friend and fellow historian, fellow sports addict. It's a book entitled "Breaking the Line." And what I brought this up for is because this I brought it out of my. You can see it's a little yellow on the pages there. So it's been around for a while.
Yes.
But this was a book for those of you that can see this on Facebook. It's called Breaking the Line. This is actually the story of HBCU football in the late 1960s. And in fact, 1967, they say it was the season in black college football that transformed the sport and changed the course of civil rights. It's the story of the game. It's based upon the two, probably the two most famous black coaches, and maybe two of the best coaches in America, Eddie Robinson from Grambling and Jake Gaither from Florida A&M. And my dear mentor and homeboy, Ken Riley, who went to play for Jake Gaither, is highly featured in this book as they talk about some of the games. They talked about even down to the Orange Blossom Classic. It talks about the games between the rivalries between those two coaches and with James Harris, Shaq Harris, who became one of the
Yes, sir.
first black quarterbacks in the league. It involves Tennessee State with John Merritt. These are some of the we call. In fact, you'll find out it's interesting that Woody Hayes, who was a coach at Ohio State, actually came to some of Jake Gaither's clinics
Wow.
during the summer. And people would say, "What? Yeah, I
Wow.
thought. I mean, we always get those guys celebrate, but they learned a lot of their stuff from Jake and from Eddie Robinson." And so, those of you that are out there that might want to know a little more about HBCU football, this is a great book to read. Larry Wesley recommended to me several years ago. I got it, and I'm telling you, man, couldn't put it down. So if you got an interest in HBCU college football, and I'm actually going to pass this on to Coach so that he can make sure I ain't got no too many notes in there written there, because I'm I am truly I will definitely write up a book. But that's what I learned in law school. We
Thanks
write
so
it, we
much.
mark it up. But Breaking the Line is talks about HBCU football, and that's the next level, because so many people they talk about Power Five conferences,
Right.
and you coached at the Power Five level,
Yes, sir.
but yet your heart brought you back here to HBCU, brought you back to your alma mater, and a lot of people say, "Oh well, if you want to be successful, you gotta go to a Power Five," and they start filling those kids' head with that nonsense when they are literally in middle school, because that's what they see on television.
Right.
They see the Florida States, they see the University of Georgia's on TV, the Power Five conferences, but HBCU college football has had not only a winning tradition, but have sent countless numbers of people, of young men, into the league who've gone on to do even greater things after they left the league. But let's just give me, I'm hyped on HBCU football.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I mean, just the things that I've learned throughout the years, I mean, it helped me learn how to do a little with a lot, and me
Okay.
graduating, from the Bethune-Cookman University,
Yes, sir.
it just really showed me that, if I can come and get a degree and play football and go and coach at all these different Power Five schools, anyone can, and I really thank BCU for teaching me a lot. I've played for Larry Littles, Jack
Mm-hmm.
Cy McLaren,
Mm-hmm.
Alvin White. I mean, those guys, all of that experience, taught me a lot and allowed me to have some success, at those levels, and then come back and be the head coach at my alma mater. So I love learning the history, about HBCUs because it's a
Mm-hmm.
stigma. Hey, you know what? You get into the HBCU coaching circuit, you're not gonna move out. That's not true. You know, I think that anybody who wants to be a coach and has a desire and the number one put God first, anything can happen.
That's right. That's right. And I love what you said about doing a little with a lot. Excuse me, doing a lot with a little. Let me
Yes.
flip that around. That's didn't get that right. Doing a lot with a little. And, and I can think of my own experience at Kentucky State that, we maybe didn't have all of the accoutrements, as they would say,
Right.
but we did a lot with a little.
Yes.
And it produced. Now, Kentucky State was more of a basketball program. I mean, we produced 3 NAIA championships back to back to back during my time there, and we produced the Elmore Smiths and the Travis
Oh, yeah.
Grants and those kinds of guys that went on to play in the league. And the same thing is true with not only whether you're talking football, but whether you're talking about just learning and growing. We may not have all of the things that make you I guess you could say all of the bells and whistles
Right.
that come that way. But we really do give you a great education. We tell you what you can do. We can encourage you. We can push you. We can help you to better understand what it is that's out on the outside. Just like what we're seeing happening now in the on the political side, on the educational front. And I'm not throwing Coach under the bus for that one. But on my end, I know that my training and education at Kentucky State allowed me to succeed when I got to University of Georgia for law school.
Yes, sir.
And I remember that there was some folks who kind of looked at us with that side eye and tried to act like we didn't have a place there. But as I always told them, I said, maybe just maybe there was something that said that they were willing to take a chance on us.
Yes,
But guess what? We had to perform, we had to produce, we had to do everything everybody else had to do to not only get out, but to also pass the bar exam.
that's it.
There was nobody giving us no passes
Right.
for that. You had to go in and you had to put the time in and do the work. And that's true with every other HBCU program, whether you're talking about going into medical school and becoming a doctor, whether you're talking about, again, whether you're talking about coming to the school because you think that your future is in sports. Well, if it's in sports, God has gifted you with those credentials.
That's right.
You're going to find your way to do that. And now, of course, they bring videotape from all over anybody can be found
Right.
if they got the talent, they got the
That's
drive, they got the determination.
That's it.
So we're amazed at that. I'm looking over there. I'm going to make sure that we give the contact information just before we leave. I'm trying to check with our boss over there across the table to see if she wants us to break now. Maybe we'll break at the end. Okay, she said keep going, keep going.
Okay.
So let me let's ask about some of the schedules that you got coming up. I see you brought a copy of the schedule with you. What are some of the games? Who's Bethune playing for homecoming this year?
Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
one of the head coach there, he and I, it's some relation, some history. I mean, we were at South Florida together, and then also Oregon together. So it's gonna be good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. What are some of the other big home? Do you have some other? Of course, we know the big one is the Classic in Orlando. We know with FAMU, and of course, we want to fill that stadium up, y'all. One of the things when I served as interim president was to know that the big thing from my perspective as president was how many people can we get in the seats? We needed to fill up the stadium, and I remember that we were happy at the end that we got each school came away with $1 million from that gate. And I know that that's the kind of thing that's going to provide scholarships. That's the kind of thing that's going to provide financial support for these athletic programs and for both schools. So again, if you're not yet bought your tickets, buy your tickets for the Classic. The Classic is going to be a rivalry. It's going to be not only that, but it's going to be a big display. We got both schools have great bands, great band directors. Dr. Wells, we're looking forward to you doing it up again. All of those kinds of things that are going to happen. But all throughout the schedule, all throughout the season, this is where we bring the excitement. We bring the energy. We bring people back out who have been kind of lying back, dormant, so to speak, throughout the summer.
Yes.
Summer can be so hot that most people want to stay inside. They don't want to come out in that heat. So everybody's trying to avoid it, hopefully staying cool. But now that school is starting to kick up, we'll start to see that energy starting to flow again. You can
Yes.
see more and more people in town moving about and coming out to. Are your practices allowed? Are you going to allow the public to view any of the practices this year, or is that a closed
It's
situation?
closed. It's closed right now.
Okay.
Obviously, we have some, people that come in like the different media outlets, but we have a closed practice right now.
Okay.
Now, if the new president want to come, he can come whenever he want to come. But
Okay.
we're excited. We're
All
excited.
right, all right. I'm gonna see if I could tag along with him when he does. So, because I love watching football. This, my I just got a little picture from our daughter that our grandson scored his first touchdown this weekend. He's playing.
Oh,
He's a freshman.
congrats.
He's a freshman at up in North Carolina. But then, unfortunately, when you mentioned ankle, I saw where he injured his ankle because he was on crutches yesterday. So these things do happen,
Yes.
but hopefully it's just a small sprain and he'll be able to bounce back. But again, we're excited about the new season. Again, shout out to Dr. Mosley, the new president of Bethune-Cookman. They're
Hmm.
right now doing their faculty staff institute today, and so they're getting everybody together so that they'll know what the mission is. He's going to put the vision out there, and they'll be able to hopefully follow and do what they need to do. And this will be a time of growth. So
Hmm.
those of you that are out there that if whether you want to contribute to the football program or if you want to be supportive of some of the other activities and the like, reach out. Dr. Sherry Paramore, who has been the VP for Institutional Advancement, she's the chief fundraiser, works closely with the president, and I think she has a new role that she's also carrying on. So she's doing a little double duty right now. But if you want to reach out to her, she can help you tell you how you can make that. And Robin McLaren, hi Robin, how you doing? It's the daughter and the heir to the McLaren
Yes.
legacy. She, of course, is over in IA and works with a lot of the efforts to try to raise money and support the great school Bethune-Cookman. So, Coach, there, I know our time is coming, and it's coming rapidly to a close. But talk to us and tell us what's on your mind right now in terms of what can we do as the community. Yes, we're glad that your guys are out there, and we're gonna expect them. I got a couple proposals for them as the season rolls on, and even after the season, that we're gonna hopefully they'll be able to make some guest appearances. We're working on a project now with the Boys and Girls Club
Oh.
that we think will be very fitting to have some of your guys show up so that our kids can look up and say, "Oh my God, look how big they are." But they will
Yeah.
encourage those young kids to be able to stay in school. Or as I used to tell them when I speak, I say, go to school, get your work, and stay out of trouble.
Yes, sir.
Whether you're at first grade or whether you're at 12th grade, if you can do that, you can be on your way to greatness.
That's right.
Talk to us and tell us what do you tell your team about and preparing them for greatness.
Well, I tell you, it's all about three things for us as a program. First you have to be a good student, and then you have to have good character. When the coaches are not around, are you going to make that right decision? And then you got to have some type of athletic ability, because a lot of guys, I tell them all the time, NFL again stands for not for long. But if you have good manners,
Hmm.
yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and sit in the front of the class, do what people ask you to do, somebody's going to see you and give
Hmm.
you an opportunity to be productive in the community or in life.
That's good. That's good. And so, are there any things we need to do to prepare our fans for the season? I know you're preparing your guys, but what about on the other side? What do we need to do to prepare our fans for this season?
Well, I tell you what, we want all and anybody who want to come and support us, we need it. It's all about. I tell the players, it's all about giving. That's why we went out and showcased we
Hmm.
in the community, so now we can in turn get the community behind us. And I can tell you this, you're going to see a good product on that field. So we encourage everyone to come out and support the Wildcats.
All right. When's the first home game?
We'll play that 4 weeks from now,
Okay.
against Alabama A&M.
Alabama A&M. Let's see. That's the Bulldogs, right? I think they're the
Yes.
Bulldogs.
Yes.
Alabama A&M
Yeah.
Bulldogs are going to be coming to town. All right, and we hope we can uh, host them quite well. But let's send them back home with a loss, with a spanking.
Yeah.
You know. My family, my parents are actually from Alabama,
Oh, okay.
so and of course my cousins that went to school there between A&M and Alabama State, we there was always a rivalry. So I'm glad that we can continue that now, this next generation. So any other big ones that you're looking at coming up on the schedule?
Well, I just think each game on our schedule is the most important because it's the next game on our schedule. We don't
Okay,
want to get too high, too low, but we got to come to work and go to work each opponent that we play. When we say big, I think all of the games are big.
okay, very good. See, spoken like a true coach. Don't look too far. Don't look
No,
at next week. Look at where you are right now.
exactly.
Right now. Well, it's exciting, and we're so glad. So, Coach, let's get some contact information out there. Who do you want them to contact if they're interested in making donations to the program? And of course, again, we encourage you to do so. If you're looking at you got a donation for the either Miss Paramore, Dr. Paramore, is certainly for the university. And if you want to specifically, you can do it. You can all just designate it specifically for the football program. And I know she would probably be glad to make sure it gets in the right location. But is there a particular contact if we wanted, churches or other groups out there wanted to give? What would be that number? Who would that person be?
It'd be Brandon Woods.
Okay.
He's our director of ops, and that number is 518-651-5768.
Okay. Again, folks, if you're writing it down, again, if you say it again for us.
Brandon Woods, 518-651-5768.
All right. And I can tell you, man, that they are ready, ready, ready. They're excited. All you got to do is just see some of the guys walking around the campus. We saw them at church on Sunday.
Yes.
They came over to visit. They were guests at Allen Chapel on Sunday. And I don't know, Coach. I guess maybe I was sitting down on the front row, but I saw some fellows look like they were about 10 feet tall.
Well,
Passing.
I tell you what was so good about the church service. Obviously we appreciate Allen Chapel every year they invite us, but it was 8 student athletes who turned their lives over to God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the other part of what Bethune brings to the table. I was talking with a cousin of mine just couple weeks ago, and I found out that her goddaughter from Gainesville is actually a freshman in the band, and no, freshman on the volleyball team. And she was saying that the difference between where she went coming to Bethune versus going to one of the other schools was that her dad was more concerned about the fact that there would be character building, there would be even a curfew as need be for her. And she's young, she's 17, getting married, go 18. And so it's just good that we still have the reputation that we not only just educate students academically, but we help to build and promote character.
Yes, sir.
And that's what you're doing there on that football team. So,
Yes, sir.
any final words?
Well, like I said before, our first conference game home is September 27th, and our first actually home game against Coach, one of my friends, Brian Jenkins, Edward Waters, September the 20th. So it's
That
going
should
to be
be a
exciting.
good one,
Yeah.
shouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
And I know President Faison. We actually did some work together some years ago, and he can always kind of he can talk the good game too. But all right, come on down here, Coach. Come down here, President Faison. All right, those Wildcats gonna gonna be ready for you. Let's
Yes.
put it that way.
Yes, sir. And I'm excited. Like I say,
That's gonna be
congratulations.
good.
Yeah, again to Coach Jenkins, and it's
Yes.
going to be a good one.
And Edward Waters, of course, they are what are the first HBCU in the state. Historically, they were founded before any of us,
Right.
any other schools. So, but all of us work together closely, which I love about that. So, whether it be Edward Waters, whether it be Florida Memorial, Bethune-Cookman,
Mhm.
or Florida A&M, all of us work together for the benefit of our state and of our community. And we know for a fact that these 4 institutions have had the major impact of building the black middle class here in the state of Florida.
Yes, sir.
So we are so grateful. But man, the time has come and the time has
Yes,
gone
it's
so
here.
quickly. But I know I said this before, but I'll give you the final word.
Hail Wildcats.
Hail Wildcats, hail Wildcats. And we know what that means. that brings on that response. So we're excited. So folks, looking forward to you coming out, being a part of the season. Don't forget to go by the, I believe it's the ticket office there at the PAC, the performing, oh my God, I'm getting tongue tied myself. The the Bethune-Cookman PAC for the ticket office, where you could be able to pick up your tickets, your season tickets, no less, and to get ready for the season ahead. So like Jake says, get ready, get ready, get ready. Well, get ready for some Bethune-Cookman football. I guarantee you that you're going to enjoy it. So come on out, have some fun, and be able to reconnect with other Wildcats, both locally and from around the state, as Wildcats come back home to support their alma mater. Again, we say, hail Wildcats.
Yes, sir.
Prima Broadcasting, Inc. is a registered 501c3 nonprofit. This means your donations are 100% tax deductible. The support from listeners just like you is what keep this station on the air. Feel free to visit our website, joy1063fm.com, to donate, or call 386-256-4706 for more ways to give. Thank you for your continued support.
Tune in to Daytona Beach Radio with your host, Donna Gray Banks. This is the city's most exciting news and information program. Here on Joy 106.3 FM, every Wednesday beginning at 12 noon. Don't miss it.
At PC 101 and Tax Rights 3